difficult to know how to start combining major and minor pentatonic scales. I find it easiest to always relate things back to something I'm already familiar with. So when I started to do that, I was doing it from a minor pentatonic perspective, I guess. I was sort of thinking of the shape of a minor pentatonic scale. And in this case, I'm going to do it from that A minor pentatonic, the shape we all know and love. So one of the most powerful ways you can throw in a major pentatonic note is by using the major third. When we do that, it's not just that we're using a note from the major pentatonic, but the third is what defines whether a scale or a chord is major or minor. So it's really noticeable, really distinctive, and really cool in the right context. And a really easy way to do this using that particular scale shape is on the third string. So in A minor pentatonic here in fifth position, that note makes this A minor pentatonic minor. So right there we have our major third right next door to it. And so if you hear an A chord, there's that minor third. The major changes everything, right? So you can go down, you can go up from there, but when you're doing this, it helps to know what you're going to do next. You can't just, well, you could. In fact, sometimes I do. But if you want to continue on from there, obviously a simple place to go is the root. So we can go down to the root. We've got an A right there. So that's a really nice, cool little way to finish out a phrase, even if you keep it all minor up until that point. There's just a little hammer on there right at the tail end. You can also go up to the root. There's an A right here. We can jump right to that and then just do whatever we're going to do. Or we could do this kind of thing, which once we do that, so I did that little hammer on there on the third string, and then I've got the fifth fret on both the top two. That's an A major triad right there. We've got a whole A major chord going on. And that gives us kind of a cool way to get up to that root. And then. Now, going outside of that particular position and shape just a little bit into the next higher, next lower pentatonic boxes, or some people will call these extensions, or kind of extending out this pentatonic shape. You can find the same notes up here in A minor, or A minor pentatonic. So there's our minor to major. There's our root again. So there's the higher extension, and then down here in the lower, we got the same thing here in third position on the bottom two strings, third to fourth fret. There's a minor to major third. There's our A root once again. Now back to focusing on our fifth position A minor pentatonic scale here. If we kind of overlap or superimpose an A major pentatonic over this, we come up with some really cool stuff. I'm just going to focus on the top three strings here. It gets a little more confusing the more we add, and we've got a really kind of convenient pattern here. So in the minor pentatonic, on those top two strings, we have the fifth and eighth frets, but the A major pentatonic would have fifth and seventh frets. So if we just add them together, we've got 5, 7, and 8. You'll hear that in a lot of old like rockabilly tunes. Move it to E minor pentatonic in that first position, open string, back to A. Now we can also throw the blue note in here. So it's not really just combining the major and minor pentatonics necessarily, but we throw that one extra note in to turn the minor pentatonic into the blues scale. Now, practically the whole, almost every note is opened up to us. It's really how you combine them. So the top few strings here, because we have that blue note there on the 8th fret. So we've got 5, 7, and 8 on all three of those strings. So there's a lot of different things you can do there. kind of like I was doing, you can just sort of noodle around on those notes, on those strings. Just a descending kind of thing is pretty cool in itself. It also opens up some more bending possibilities to us. So we don't have any half-step bends if we're sticking strictly with one major or minor pentatonic scale. But here, you know, we can bend that 7th fret note up to the 8th fret note. We can do the same thing on the 2nd string. So there, I was hitting the 8th fret 1st string, doing that half step bend at 7, and bring it back down, going back to 5. Do the same thing on the 2nd string, 8, half step bend and return at the 7th fret, down to the 5th fret, 8th fret of the 3rd string, 7th fret, half step bend and return, then going down here, 5th fret. Then we can do that little hammer on the minor to major 3rd if we want, and then ending there on A. This also opens up some double stops. Since we have all these same frets on these same strings, we can use them all as double stops if we want. That's the Brian Setzer Orchestra version of Jump, Jive, and Wail. His solo, he's doing that very thing. So we're pulling off there from 8 to 7 to 5 double stops on the top 2 strings. So we're barring whatever fingering combination is comfortable. So 8, 7, 5. Same thing on the second 2 strings. So that 7th fret double stop here on the second 2 strings, we can kind of play around with that here too. So here what I'm going to do is a little hybrid picked lick. If you watch my right hand, I'm probably doing that quite a bit in this video. I have a video on hybrid picking, so check that out if you want. But here, so I'm going to pick the 4th string here at the 7th fret, which is our root A. Then I'm just going to bar those next 2 strings, and with my right hand, middle and ring fingers, I'm hitting those, plucking those 2. Then I'm going to hit that 7th fret 4th string A again, and this time I'm going to hit my double stop 5th fret second 2 strings. So we can throw that hammer on minor to major 3rd in there if we want as well. I also have some videos on the subject of playing legato, and now that we have 3 notes on each string on these top 3 strings, this lends itself to that as well, which can be a hard thing to do in kind of a blues-based piece. So this can be kind of cool, where you normally might not be able to find something that fits or be used to hearing something like this. Please check out the rest of my channel and feel free to contact me at davekosla@outlook.com for one-on-one virtual lessons.